Hello, welcome for joining to our workshop, Anxiety Workshop, and thank you very much for your trust and your time. And congratulations, because the fact that you're showing here and that you're gonna watch the whole video means that you are fed up of your anxiety, that you really want to learn how to overcome it efficiently, and that you really want to understand how it works. And you are in the best place of the world. Our purpose today is not only going to talk about anxiety, it is going to deal with the fact that I just want to make you feel happy again because your anxiety is struggling and it's making you feel really unhappy. And this is what life is about, of being happy. This is why it's so important to get rid of anxiety as soon as possible. And with me, you're going to be able to do it in 30 days. So, ready to start? Before we get into digging deep in the 5 steps you need to learn in order to overcome your anxiety, let me show you what everything is about, what its cause and the roots of your anxiety. I just gonna play you video from a very specific scene of a film that shows what it's anxiety about. Listen.
You have to learn to select your thoughts the same way that you select your clothes every day. Now, that's a power that you can cultivate. You want to come here and you want to control your life so bad, work on the mind. And that's the only thing you should be trying to control. Because if you can't master your thoughts, you're in trouble forever.
If you can master your thoughts, you're in trouble forever. It is about controlling your thoughts. This is what anxiety is. It's about controlling your fears. Why? Well, very easy. Anxiety, it's a fear against the change, against the uncertainty. It's the fear of not knowing. If you Google anxiety's definition by the American Psychological Association, you'll see that the first word they use to define it is an emotion. And this is something that breaks all the stigma and all the cliches and myths that there are around anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion. It's a fear to the known, to the change, to the uncertainty. So that's why every of your what ifs, when you're catastrophizing, your excuses, your self-sabotaging, all your worries and your panics and your procrastinations, they are all your inner fears. They are part of your roots, of the causes of your anxiety. This is why the approach changes completely. This is why pills and medication do not cure anxiety because they cannot dig deep into your fears. They kind of make you learn to confront them. And this is the key. This is why my clients overcome it successfully in 30 days. Because whenever you feel fear, you try to neglect it. We try to avoid it. We try to say that, yeah, everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. Don't worry. I don't pay attention to it. I do not allow myself to feel it. Or I go behind them and I panic. This is why sometimes I just try to do yoga or meditation or breathing exercises just to go through them and neglect them. But that's not the approach. And this is why it doesn't work. Because you really need to know that our mind is like an iceberg, okay? We only see what is outside the water. We only see the tip of the iceberg. But as you can see in the picture, underneath the water, under the water, there is a huge mass. And this is where your mind has stored all the information. Those are your inner fears are stored at the subconscious level. Actually, did you know that science has proven that 95% of your fears are in our subconscious mind? That means if we don't dig deep in our subconscious mind and triggers them, we're not going to be able to approach anxiety. And this is what you should be focusing on learning with me how to go into your subconscious mind to extract all the information that is generating your anxiety. And this is a life-changing thing. I did not only experience it in my skin, but this is what my clients get. And this is why in 1 month, anxiety is over. Because I can help you make conscious your subconscious fears. And this is the key. You cannot battle something you don't exist, you don't know it exists. And that's the approach, the right approach. Because apart from that, we have to bear in mind that today's reality doesn't help our anxiety. We have said that anxiety is a fear. It's a fear to the changes, to the unknown, to the uncertainty. And we are surrounded by uncertainty all the time. So that makes that our mind keeps on absorbing more and more subconscious fears every day, you know. We know the World Health Organization has said that since the pandemic, anxiety and depression has increased 25% worldwide, and that most of them are women, the most affected. Yes, women, because of many reasons that we're not going to talk about. But the fact is, like, we thought we had anxiety because COVID was here, but we are in 2023. COVID is not anymore a source of a great problem as it was 3 years ago. But now, how come anxiety keeps on increasing? How come we keep on feeling worse and worse? Well, because we have inflation, we have economic crisis, we have war, we have political instability, you know, and that generates this kind of catastrophizing thoughts that you might reflect with, you know, like, what if I lose my job? What if I can't cope with my anxiety? What if I get sick again? What if I get another panic attack? That it's fear all around, fear that it's getting into your subconscious mind and that is generating you more and more anxiety. This is why anxiety makes us feel worried constantly, worried all the time, because we keep on increasing our subconscious fears. And I know it's not only because I have studied, because the latest scientific research have proven it, but as well because 10 years ago, I was in your skin. I was scared all the time. I'm I am a very sensitive person. Now I know it. I'm a highly sensitive person. I got to know it thanks to my anxiety. And I really was looking forward to become a mom. But you know, the first of many miscarriage came, and that drove me to get into fertility treatments and horrible IVF and hormonal injections, and that together with the fact that I was keeping on having miscarriage and I was not able to become a mom. And as well, I was surrounded by very toxic people in my family that was blaming me from what I was going through and what I was happening. Just triggered my high functioning anxiety, you know. And that was awful. For me, those years were years of total darkness. And I tried to overwork myself, try to, you know, distract myself from what I was feeling because deep inside of me, I was dying. I was constantly beating myself up. I was blaming myself from everything because I was not able to control my body. I was not able to control what I was feeling. I was not able of getting pregnant. I was blaming myself, you know, as if I was doing it on purpose. I became my worst enemy, and I started ruminating, overthinking. I'm feeling like there was something wrong with me, you know, because I just was looking around and people was getting happy. They were going through life. They were not struggling as I was, and I couldn't. And I really thought I had a problem, a really strong problem. Of course, at that time, I was really scared of not becoming a mom. You know, that was one of my dreams. It is one of my dreams. But just I was just terrified, and everything that came behind, you know, from these episodes, just triggered my anxiety, and my life started to get worse and worse. Um, I know I was scared of not becoming a mom, but at that time I didn't know that was my conscious fear, you know. I thought the triggers of my anxiety were the miscarriage. I thought, you know, that was it. So I just was not able to see further, you know, because I didn't have the knowledge. I was not prepared. At that time, 10 years ago, scientific research about anxiety were not as deep as we have they are today. You know, we have so much more information right now that at that time was non existent. So I was feeling so awful that I tried meds and well, they told me well, you have stress because of everything that you have been going through, and probably you are depressed as well. So we're gonna give you antidepressants, and then we're gonna give you some benzos, so you're gonna get calmer and you're gonna be able to sleep better and not be so tense. Then they recommend me as well to go to therapy, but I was feeling worse and worse. Meds were just making me feel like a zombie, and I was beating even worse myself because I was like, now I have depression, really now. With 32 years, I have to take antidepressants. Am I gonna be able to be like this all the time? Am I going to be able to cope with it? And I went through three different therapies, psychologists that didn't help me at all. And I was getting worse. So I just started to try it on my own. I was doing Reiki. I was looking for anything on internet, on YouTube tutorials. I tried yoga. I tried meditation. I bought books. I did acupuncture. I wasted, well, actually now I know that I wasted more than 4,500 euros in several years, trying to cope with it. And nothing was working. It was worse. I was feeling worse because I was over scanning my body looking for anxiety signs. I was overthinking and ruminating even more than at the beginning. As years were passing by, my situation was getting worse. Of course, I became like a bully to myself. I was like my worst enemy. And my overall health it just got worse. I started getting digestive issues. I was getting sick every other day. I couldn't eat. I lost a lot of weight. And sleeping, I was getting, all the virus at that time, all the flus. My immune system got really weak. And one day, just my body collapsed. My body told me, or you stop or I stop you. And that really scared me. um, I start wondering, like, okay, what's wrong with me? Why nothing is working? Why is people just being happy and me, I'm just here and struggling? And it's getting worse and worse. Miscarriage were not there anymore because I stopped looking for a baby. I stopped hormonal treatments, but I was feeling worse and worse. What I thought that were the roots of my anxiety were not there, so I was not improving. I was feeling worse and worse actually, and that was killing me. Um, but what I didn't know at that time, and no one told me, not the doctors, not the psychologists I was spending and wasting money in, is that 95% of our fears are in our subconscious mind, as I told you before. And I was just kind of fighting against an invisible enemy. My subconscious fears, my subconscious thoughts, my subconscious triggers were the ones ruling my anxiety without me knowing it. And I was trying and fighting against something conscious, logical, rational that I thought it was the origin of my anxiety, but it was not. So of course it was not working. Nothing was working because I was fighting against the wrong enemy. The real root of my anxiety were my unconscious fears. And I didn't get to know them until I engaged with a coach who helped me to identify and control them. As simple as that. At that time, I identify and I discover that my unconscious fears were the fact of not being a complete woman because I was not able to be a mom. I felt like a failure and I felt like I was not enough. And this is why people will reject me. And I felt like, you know, no one is going to love me because I'm not good to be loved. I'm not a complete woman. I don't deserve to be loved. And not only that, but those were some of my anxiety triggers. There were many more behind. But these subconscious ideas or programs that I wired were the ones triggering my anxiety. So discovering them and learning to control them, for me, it was life-changing. And it is as well for my clients. As soon as we unlock their subconscious fears, those who are ruling in the shadow, their anxiety, then they improve like this because they know what they need to do. Before that, I was just fighting against ghosts. They are fighting invisible enemies. And I was not aware that at that time I survived for several years controlled by my fears, And I didn't know that fear can change our brain chemistry. This is why we live on a constant worry, Because fear changes the way we perceive reality. Every time we feel fear, we activate what is called the surviving mode. I don't know if you are familiar with it, but it's called the fight, flight, and freeze response. That means every time we perceive a real threat, a threat that is going to attempt to our physical integrity, to our life. Imagine you just go hiking in the mountains and 2 meters away from you, you just see a poison snake. That's a real threat. A poison snake can kill you. Then your fear mechanism turns on. Your brain produces adrenaline and cortisol. So your body have more blood to run away, more oxygen to breathe, and defend, attack, fight, freeze, or fly, run away from a poisonous snake that can kill me. And this is clever. And this is wonderful that we have this mechanism in our body because this is why we are alive today. This is why you and me now are here. The thing comes whenever our anxiety generates an irrational fear, a threat, your body replies in the same way, releasing an overdose of stress hormones. And this is what I had at that time, and this is what you are having at this time. Every thought your anxiety generates makes your brain to release adrenaline and cortisol. And it goes into your body, and you get an overdose of stress hormones, as I did 10 years ago. And when we have an overdose of adrenaline and cortisol stored in our body, we get the first panic attack. And this is what happened to me. As long as I was maintaining my anxiety, trying to cope it on my own, my body was storing adrenaline and cortisol until one day they just explode. And your body needs to release adrenaline and cortisol, and then you get the first panic attack. And this is what happened to me and showed up. And that made even worse my anxiety. Because then I had a new fear. Panic attacks are so horrible that you think you're going to die. And since you think you're going to die, you're scared of feeling them again. And that increases your fear. And that makes your anxiety to grow. So here comes the first lesson. Yep, the first lesson that I promise you that you will learn. Since now we know that all the physical tensions from our anxiety are generated by the excess of adrenaline and cortisol in our bodies, what we need to do is to release it. Here, you just have a picture of our brain. Brain is releasing adrenaline and cortisol, and then the nervous system is spreading over our entire body this adrenaline and cortisol. As you can see, the nervous system goes up from your brain to your feet, to your fingers, the palm of your hands. So all our body is full of adrenaline and cortisol because our nervous system has been responsible to spreading it all over. Okay, what happens? Well, our nervous system hyperactivates, generating our muscle system to get tense. That means, look at my hands. You see, my hands, imagine they are the muscles, okay? Protecting our digestive system, our stomach. On a regular basis, without an overdose of adrenaline and cortisol, our muscles will be like this. Whenever they are tense because we have an overdose of adrenaline and cortisol, our muscles are getting tense, and they contract, they feel tension. What's the problem? That everything they are surrounding gets squeezed. Imagine you're squeezing an orange. Exactly the same. This is why when we are living with anxiety, when we have an overdose of adrenaline and cortisol, we feel like a huge knot in our stomach because our muscles, as you can see here, they are surrounding our stomach and we just can feel that we can eat anything. Or maybe our throat, as you can see, our neck is full of muscles. Or when we feel a heavy chest in our, heavy weight in our chest, sorry, it's our muscles contracting our chest. Or where our heart starts beating, raising its beats, it's because the muscles are contracting your heart and they are not allowing it to work or to function properly. We need to release this muscle tension in order to improve our overall well-being, our overall physical well-being. So now that you know that the physical symptoms that you get from anxiety are generated by your adrenaline and cortisol, what we need to do in order to improve our physical anxious symptoms is to reduce the amounts that we have stored from stress hormones. That means adrenaline and cortisol in our body. How can we do it? Well, I'm going to share with you 3 things that are going to help you improve them. But you need to apply them every day. It doesn't work if you just do it one day and you feel like, oh, nothing works, No, 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 no. You have been accumulating a lot of adrenaline and cortisol for such a long time that you really need to keep on working every day. You need to be committed to release adrenaline and cortisol and clean up your body, okay? I'm going to share with you 3 approaches, very effective ones you need to follow every day. First one, activate your lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is the one in charge of releasing the toxins from our body, okay? So if we help it out, if we activate it, the cleaning process of adrenaline and cortisol is going to be much faster. How do we activate it? Move every day, daily exercise. You're going to help your lymphatic system to overactivate and clean up faster your adrenaline and cortisol. Drink 2 liters of water per day. Eliminate processed foods. Of course, reduce as much as you can alcohol and tobacco. And remove as well added sugar from your diet. Those are the biggest enemies of your lymphatic system. They don't help anxiety. Second thing, generate serotonin and oxytocin. We have talked about the fact that cortisol and adrenaline are the stress hormones and they are generated by your anxiety. Well, the good news is that in our body, we have as well 2 other hormones that are compensating the levels of adrenaline and cortisol, and they are serotonin and oxytocin. How can we generate them? Every time we engage in something that makes us happy, we're generating naturally serotonin and oxytocin. If you love to go outside and go for a walk, you're generating adrenaline, oxytocin and serotonin. If you love painting, you're generating adrenaline, you're generating serotonin and oxytocin, sorry. If you love dancing, you're generating serotonin and oxytocin. If you're just watching or listening to a song you love, and you are fully connected and you allow yourself to feel this happiness or this joy, you're generating serotonin and oxytocin. And serotonin and oxytocin are compensating adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones, the ones that don't help us to feel better, okay? So every day, as a routine, you have to do something that makes you happy. Allow yourself to connect to this happiness and feel it and generate serotonin and oxytocin every day. Anxiety just keeps us focusing on the negative scenarios, on catastrophizing, on thinking always about the negative outcome. Well, we need to start teaching our brain that there are many other things we can do, not only the negative ones, not only the fear ones, the scary ones. There are plenty of things we can do in our day-to-day life that can generate serotonin and oxytocin, that can make us happy And we need to remind to ourselves, to our body, and to our brain that we are also able to be happy, to generate serotonin and oxytocin, and compensate our adrenaline and cortisol. Okay. So first, first approach: activate your lymphatic system. How? Moving, drinking water, eliminating processed food, sugar, alcohol, and tobacco. Second thing, generating serotonin and oxytocin. How? Engaging in activities that make you happy. And the third one is avoiding anxiety peaks to generate more stress hormones. That means adrenaline and cortisol. If you think about it, it's extremely logical. If I clean up the stored amount of adrenaline and cortisol that I have in my body, I generate serotonin and oxytocin that are compensating this huge amount of negative of stress hormones. And then in parallel, I avoid new anxiety peaks. So not to get the situation worse, and that means not to generate more stress hormones, then my overall health is going to improve, right? Yeah, but you might be thinking, okay, Martha, but how do we do it? Well, this is what I'm going to show you now. And these are the 5 steps my clients learn in order to overcome anxiety efficiently. This is what we work together always. The first step, identify and control your fears so you stop living in a constant worry, ruminating, catastrophizing, and overthinking. How do we do it? First, we learn, and we do it together to bring them from the subconscious mind to your conscious mind. Okay? And this is something we do together. This is something that I help them to do. And then second, once we have just made them conscious, once we have identified the enemy we need to fight it, we work on confronting them or the realizing from them. Okay? Now we're gonna make a short exercise here. I'm gonna show you what the realization means. Okay? Because unfortunately in a Zoom, you're gonna learn how to make your subconscious fears conscious. For this, we need to work together. So first, I need you to identify, take 1 minute. You can pause the video and write down any of your fears, conscious fears, okay? It can be an excuse because fears show up in a very different ways. An excuse, it's a fear. Every time you have an intrusive thought, it's a fear. Every time you self-sabotage yourself, is your fear preventing you from doing something that is going to bring a change in your life. Write them down, okay? And whenever you're ready, I want you to imagine that a drunk guy, completely stranger, comes up to you. You meet him on the street, comes up to you and tells you exactly what your fear is. In my case, it's like, you will never become a mom. That was my conscious fear, okay? The first one that I identified before I start working with my coach. What would you tell to a drunk guy, completely stranger, that in the middle of the street just come back to you and tells you, you're never gonna be a mom? How would you reply? What would you say? I would, first thing would be like, what the hell do you know? You know nothing about me. You know nothing about my body. You're not a doctor. You have nothing to say. You know? Actually, I would be quite, rude because I would felt that he's not being respectful to me. Of course, would you give any credit to him, to her? Would you believe what he or she? They are drunk. They are strangers. They know nothing about you. Would you give any credit to it? To whatever he tells you? Think about it. Would you? No, right? So if you will never believe a drunk guy telling you things that he or she doesn't know, why did you believe what your mind tells you? We tend to think that just because this is in our mind, it is true. But there's something that you need to know. Your mind is lying to you many times. And you will know why when we start working together. It's really funny how our mind works and how getting to know how it works can make us anticipate and identify whenever our mind is lying to us or not. Here you have an example of one of my clients, Um, she, Maria, she just felt lost. She just lost herself. And her anxiety was making her live on a constant worry 24/7. To reflect. Her intrusive negative thoughts were draining her up to the point where she thought she lost her mind. I don't know if you already had experienced this feeling. I did. And it's extremely scary. We started working together. And along the weeks, she discovered how to identify these subconscious fears that were the sources of her overthinking. As soon as you discover them, you stop ruminating. And as soon as you stop ruminating, you get your peace of mind back, which is what Maria got. And now she can enjoy life with no worries, feeling like herself again. And she's just feeling that it's priceless, this feeling. Information is power. And the more you know about how your brain functions, about what is feeding your anxiety, the sooner your anxiety will be over. With me in 30 days. Second step. I'm going to drink a little bit of water, sorry. Second step. Identify and manage your triggers so you can stop generating more stress hormones that generate or create your anxiety physical symptoms. This is very logical as well. If there's no cause, there's no consequence. As soon as you identify the triggers of your anxiety that are in your subconscious mind and you make them conscious, then you can manage them and then your anxiety is gone. As simple as that. As you avoid the cause, there is no problem. It's like real life. The thing is like triggers can be really complicated to identify on your own, because they can be past neglected emotions you're not aware because they are in your subconscious mind. They can be unhealed traumas that you're not aware of because we tend to think that a trauma is something like really, really, really shocking, like a car crash, like an earthquake, like a kidnap, like an assault. But no, there are plenty of different traumas, and we are not aware of them and the consequences in our life until we make them conscious. As well, toxic people living in toxic environments, those are very strong anxiety triggers. Chronic stress as well, social isolation, medical conditions, technology overuse, yes, plenty. There are plenty of triggers, many more that I didn't mention here. But what I can tell you is that what I can guarantee you is that when you identify your triggers and you manage them, when you make them conscious and you manage them, then your anxiety improves right away. And if not, you can read Anna's feedback. For her, it was so powerful to get to know what she was getting really triggered by because she thought it was her narcissist ex-boyfriend. But it was not. The real triggers were lying underneath, since she has been always terrified of being rejected or left alone. And that took her to engage along her entire life in very dependent, emotionally dependent relationships. Now she knows how to be on her own, she loves it, and she doesn't have anxiety anymore. She got it. I got it. You can get it as well. The next step, the third one, manage your inner dialogue to stop beating yourself up, boost your self-esteem and confidence so you can live with peace of mind. Anxiety makes us blame ourselves, makes us feel responsible for what we're feeling, and as if we were choosing it, consciously, but it is not. We blame to ourselves for what we're feeling when what we don't know is that we never can choose what we feel. And we blame ourselves for not being able to control it. But this is extremely unfair to us. Because if we will get a leg broken or we will get a problem with our lungs, we will never blame ourselves for that. However, with anxiety, we blame ourselves for it as if we did something wrong, but we didn't. It's just in our mind, just our subconscious mind, the one that is making us function this way. This is why we need to work it on getting it conscious. Because did you know that according to Stanford University, they are the world references on the inner dialogue, our inner critic dialogue is one of the main contributing factors to anxiety. Can you imagine? Look at what she got once she learned to manage her inner dialogue. The extreme anxiety and stress that she began to feel pushed her to look for help. Together, we were working on identifying her inner critic, understanding it, forgive it, and heal. You know? Together, we work on different tools that allow her to finally listen and empower her inner voice. And it is true her life circumstances have not changed because she had a really tough life. But it has changed the way she's approaching life, the way she's managing them, and that definitely changed her life. Now she lives at peace with herself and with no more anxiety. You see how powerful is identifying your subconscious fears, avoiding, managing, identifying and managing your triggers, and shifting your inner critic voice? In 4 weeks, your anxiety is gone. With me, your anxiety is gone. And let's go for the fourth one, the fourth step. Boost your confidence so you can stop self-doubting, self-judging, self-criticizing, and reconnect with yourself. You know, one of the most common things that I heard about anxiety, and I was feeling it the same, you know, it's like when I always ask my clients, what is your main outcome? What do you really want to get apart from, of course, overcoming anxiety? They always tell me, I miss my old self. I just want to come back to be happy again, as I used to be before my anxiety showed up. I just want to be like myself, feel like myself. And this is because anxiety generates or makes us to detach from who we truly are, you know? Since we're living in a constant worry and doubting constantly about ourselves, we don't trust ourselves anymore. We don't believe in ourselves anymore. This is why we become so dependent emotionally on others. And this is why we overdoubt and self-guess constantly, you know? Look what happened to Emma. She decided to start the process because she felt extremely disconnected from herself. She was not focused and balanced. She was sad and grumpy all the time. She had no energy. She felt drained and apathetic. She was not able to enjoy life anymore. Along the process of discovering her inner voice, her triggers, her subconscious fears, she rescued herself. She learned to recognize herself. And she was embracing who she really was, with her strength and her weaknesses. She understood how to develop and practice self-compassion and self-care. So that means no more beating herself up. And she also identified her inner critic voice, how annoying it was, and the terrible impact it had in her life. She learned to shift it into an ally, and now she knows how to calm it down and how to embrace it. For her, the process has been very positive and enriching. She has reinforced her self-esteem, self-identity, and now she gets tools to face uncertainty and future life problems, as you can get if you start working with me on it. Together, we'll work on it. And the last step that my clients learn to overcome anxiety, they learn to handle all their emotions, you know, because unfortunately, anxiety never comes alone. It comes with frustration because you feel that you cannot cope with it. It comes with guilt because it is not only affecting your life, you know, it is affecting your loved one's life. And that makes you feel extremely guilty. I was feeling very guilty for the pain my parents, my brother, and my husband were having because of me, you know, because they were seeing me struggling and they couldn't do anything. And that made me even feel worse, you know. So it was like an spiral that I couldn't stop. It comes with shame We think there's something wrong with us. We really believe it. And that's really sad. And it comes with sadness as well, because we miss the one we used to be. Anxiety changed everything. And of course, it comes with fears, with worries of not being able to cope with it, you know? What if I have to live with it for my entire life? It's fear, it's anxiety. We say it at the beginning, anxiety, it's a fear. Fear, anxiety, anxiety, fear. Look at this picture. Do you think they don't feel scared in front of this huge fire? Do you think when a surgeon needs to save a life, get into a really complicated surgery, death or life surgery, they don't feel scared? Do you really believe they don't feel fear? They do. But you know what's the difference? That they have learned not to allow fear to control them. They have learned not to allow fear to stop it. The same way my clients have learned not to allow anxiety to stop them. They do not allow anxiety to control them anymore. And I want to make an exercise with you. I would like you to take a piece of paper and just write down simple line and divide it in spaces from 1 to 100, from 0 to 100. Play pause, do it, and whenever you're ready, we will keep on working on it. I have mine here. You see? You have yours, right? Okay. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna be here. First thing we're gonna do. I don't know how old are you? I'm 43. So we're gonna double by the age we really are. Because, you know, this paper is a symbol of our life. So we already lived, I already lived 43 years. So they are over. Okay? And now I want you to think, how long do you expect to live? I expect to live around 90, 95. So I want you to got it, you know? So far, so good. This is what I think my life is going to be ahead of me, my future. Okay? From 43 till 90 something. I hope so. Now I want you to tell me, okay, do you really think from 80 to 90 something, you're gonna have the time to travel, to start up a new life, to move to a different country, to start up a new business project, get a new partner, enjoy life? Or your body is not going to allow you. Your overall health is not going to allow it to you. I don't think so. If I see my grandparents, when they turned 80, they couldn't do barely anything but sitting at home, you know, and do nothing. So I just want to remove you from the equation. So now we have short piece of paper, you know, just 40 to 80. What about from 70 to 80? Again, do you really think you're gonna have the chance to enjoy and have the best time of your life? That you're gonna be young, healthy, strong, stable? No, definitely it's not the best time for doing that. So we're going to remove it as well from our piece of paper. Now, look how small it is. Hmm. from this, we just reduce it to this. And right now, you're struggling with anxiety. So you're not living these years. You're not being happy. And for how long are you going to be like this? For how long are you going to tolerate your anxiety to keep on ruining your life? If you don't do nothing, your anxiety is going to take over again some years. Who knows if until you turn 50 or you turn 60, shrinking your life. Because I can guarantee you something. Anxiety will never get better. Anxiety is not going to disappear or fade away magically after 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Anxiety is gonna get worse. And it's not me saying it. And it's not because I experienced it in my skin. Because it's what science is proving. You can see the data that we showed at the beginning. 25% increase of anxiety worldwide since the pandemic. And the COVID is over. Thank God it's just the flu. But your anxiety keeps on being there, keeps on growing, keeps on making you feel worse. What did this exercise tells you, That you have in front of you a second life. But unless you take an action, your life is going to shrink to unhappiness and anxiety. What have you learned from this exercise? What is what you really want? This life ahead? Or just because you're too scared to face it, you just are going to allow your anxiety to keep on shrinking your life? And not only yours, your loved ones as well. What does it tell you, this exercise? Tell me. What does it tell you? Because for me, it's a very clear message. Very clear now. The time is now. Time to act is now. Because life is too short to struggle with something you can learn to manage. If not, look at what she bought, what she felt. She was completely drained, and her anxiety made her feel very uneasy, She was frustrated with herself because she was feeling she was not living her life. She was scared, having a full panic attack in a situation where she was driving or flying or in a crowded environment. So she made the decision that she could no longer live in fear, as you're living right now. Her fears, her anxiety was impacting her social life, meeting friends, working life, everything. So we started working together. And now she feels more comfortable knowing that she can manage the situation. She had methods to deal with it. She doesn't get anxious anymore about having a panic attack. She had been on a plane and went abroad, enjoyed her vacations that before she couldn't. Because previously she had backed up out of the last minute going on holidays, even after paying in full for them, just because of her anxiety and panic attack. And now she's able to drive on her own further than work and back, which is only 10 minutes away from her house, you know. She can socialize with friends, she can be crowded places, she's more confident. She doesn't allow any more anxiety to control her. She controls the situation. And she regrets that she would have taken this step sooner, you know. She chose to go like this. She didn't choose to shrink her life and allow anxiety to keep on controlling her. Would you allow me to explain you how to get it? Yes? Thank you very much. So, as you know, I'm an eccentric woman, and I ICF coach specialized in emotional and anxiety management, certified by the International Coaching Federation. And for the last 2 years, I've been helping women like you to overcome anxiety in 30 days. How do I do it? Well, I have created a coaching program. It's called Tizer. It's a bespoke coaching program where we're going to meet one-to-one, just you and me, in some sessions to learn to overcome your anxiety in 30 days, to be happy again. Okay? Why? Well, because I don't want you to make some mistakes I did when I was in the past that I ruined and wasted several years of my life. I don't want you to struggle one more second because of anxiety, especially because I know you can overcome it. And it's not only me the one saying it. You have read all the feedbacks and results and comments from my clients. And with me, we can get it in 30 days. You know how we're going to do it? The first week, you're going to stop overthinking because we're going to identify and control your subconscious fears. The second week, you're going to stop your inner critic dialogue to stop beating yourself up. And then your peace of mind will come back. The third week, we will have so much information that we will have identified already your triggers. So if you don't have a trigger, there's no anxiety, there's no adrenaline and cortisol, and your body gets free from it, and you can enjoy improving your overall well-being. The fourth week, we're going to reconnect you with yourself. You're going to feel like your old self. You're going to reconnect and bring back your confidence, your self-esteem, and your old self. You know that 10 years ago, I struggled with high functioning anxiety for several years. You know, I wasted more than €4,500 trying to overcome it, and nothing worked. And this is why. Because I know how frustrating it is to try everything and get no results. I have developed 100% refund guarantee, you know? That means if in 30 days you don't feel better with your anxiety, if in 30 days after coming to all of the sessions and doing all of the exercises, you don't feel better, I will give you back, I will refund you back 100% of your investments. Why do I do this? Because at that time, 10 years ago, I will have loved someone to guarantee me what I'm guaranteeing you. No one told me this. They just told me, yeah, you're going to improve, don't worry. But it was not helping. And I'm sure if you're taking meds, you know what I mean. And I'm sure if you did Reiki, you know what I mean. And I'm sure if you're doing therapy, you know what I mean. And I'm sure if you're just trying to meditate, do breathing exercises, yoga, stretching, books, YouTube videos, tutorials, you know what I mean. I don't want your fears to have an excuse. Oh no, I don't have money. What if it doesn't work? What if? Well, there's no risk here. There's no threat. There's nothing to be scared about. You just feel you're not working, it's not working, I will give you back the money. What can you lose? Nothing. There's nothing to risk about with Tizer. So now that you know that you need to control your subconscious fears, your inner critic voice. You need to identify your triggers and manage your emotions to reconnect with yourself to overcome anxiety successfully. You have two options. The first one, keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on doing what it doesn't work. Keep on making your anxiety get worse and keep on struggling, being unhappy, making your loved ones unhappy, and just hiding and allowing your anxiety to rule your life. Or, second option, you can start overcoming anxiety with me, as all the women you just read the comments about. And you can break free from it in 30 days with a guarantee. We will sign up an agreement contract and you will see how it works. You can be happy again in 30 days if you have your anxiety under control. Trust me. You can do it. Watch this video.
When it feels scary to jump, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life.
And I know how you're feeling. Extremely scary. Because you have in front of you a possibility that it's allowing you to overcome anxiety in 30 days. But you feel scary. And this is why I need you to jump. Because do you really want to keep on living like this? Be honest. Do you want to keep on living like this just because you're scared of prioritizing yourself? I know it's not you. I know you really want, but somehow you can't, right? Because your anxiety is the one ruling. Are you aware of it? I know you want, otherwise you will not be here. But somehow you can't because your anxiety from the subconscious mind is ruling, on the backside, on the shadow, is the one ruling. But how is your life going to be in 1 year if you don't take any action today? Remember the exercise that we just did. So shrink it. That you're not gonna have barely life to enjoy, to be happy. When are you gonna keep on struggling with it 5, 6 more years, doing nothing and diminishing the chances that you might have to be happy? Shrinking your life? But and how are your loved ones' life going to be in a year if you don't take an action today? It's not only you. It's about your daughter, your son, your partner, your sister, your friends, your daughter, your mom, your dad. It's not only about you. It's also about them. Because are you aware of all the wonderful things you're missing in life because of your anxiety? And are you aware that these moments will never come back? As the past that we just have eliminated from our life. Those years, those months, those weeks that we have already given to our anxieties, they will never come back. There's nothing we can do about it. But there's something we can do about our future. And it's improving it by taking action now and today. Because tell me, be honest, eh? I'm not gonna judge you. From 1 to 10, how much do you value your life? How important is your life for you? How important are you for yourself and your life? Tell me. And if it's so important, until when are you going to allow your anxiety to keep on controlling your life? If it's really so valuable for you, until when are you going to be surviving instead of living fully your life? What do you need to jump and take the decision and overcome it effectively? Tell me. But you know what's the best? That you're not gonna jump alone. I'm gonna be there with you. And we're gonna do it together. The same way I was doing it with my clients, the ones that you just read, with Emma, with Maria, with Anna. You're gonna be alone. And probably now you're just thinking, yeah, you're right, Marta. My life deserves to take an action. I deserve to live a happy life. And I know that on my own I can do it. And you're right, I need help. It's too overwhelming. I can manage it on my own. Enough is enough. Yeah. But then we're gonna finish the video, and your anxiety is going to start over, because I know it, because most of my clients told me, and it's logical, because you know how anxiety works. And you're gonna start, what if I can get it? What if I don't do it? What if it's not that bad? I can manage. Pills is not, with pills, it's okay. New intrusive thoughts are gonna come, fears, excuses. I have no time. I have no money. Fears, anxiety, excuses, over worrying. Your anxiety taking action. Your anxiety taking the decision for you. And now it's a time to identify it and do the exercise that we did with the drunk guy. If a drunk guy comes to you, stranger, and tells you you're not gonna make it, what would you tell him? If it tells you you have no time, well, my life is really valuable. I'm going to prioritize it. You have no money. Well, it's not risky because there is a refund guarantee. You're not going to waste a penny. It's going to be an investment in you, and you're going to get it in return, not only now, for the rest of your life, because this is not what it's only about. And I started the video with this. It's not only about anxiety, it's about being happy and enjoying your life. What are you going to tell to this strong guy whenever you will finish the video and this anxiety will come up with all these intrusive thoughts? I'm not that bad. It's okay. I can make it on my own. Now that Martha told me I need to control my triggers and my fears, I'm gonna do it on my own. Well, let me tell you, you're not qualified to dig deep in your subconscious mind and extract the information, as I am. And I tried to do it on my own as well. Let me tell you a secret. It doesn't work. We have not been trained to deal with it. And it's really funny because whenever we have a problem with our car, with our PC, with some electric machine from home, with our pipelines, we always call a specialist. We bring the car to a repair shop or our mobile or our PC, or we call the electrician or we call the plumber. We do it with our physical things, but we are unable to do it with ourselves. Does this mean that you really value yourself? if you're not willing to invest in yourself, to spend money on yourself, as you will do in your car whenever you bring it to the repair shop, or as you will pay the plumber, the electrician, after he or she will fix pipelines or anything at home. But then for you, you don't have money. You don't invest in yourself. Why? Are you scared? Well, I told you, you're not going to jump alone. I'm going to be there with you. But think about it. Why I'm not able to invest in myself? Why I do not allow myself to invest in myself? Why I do not prioritize my happiness, not allowing myself to invest money in myself? Think about it. Because who does your life belong to? Is it yours or it belongs to your anxiety? Are you going to keep on allowing your anxiety to rule? Or is you the one who is going to take action and say, okay, enough is enough. Martha, let's go. Tell me. Because it's you, the one taking the decision. It's your happiness. It's your life. It's you, not your anxiety. And you know now that your new happy life is just one call away. Scan the QR code that you're going to see and book your free discovery call. It's just a free discovery call, a Zoom. Just you and me. The same way we are right here, right now. Scan it. Scan it or go to my Instagram bio and book it. As simple as that. I'll be on the other side supporting you whenever you jump. When you jump. Because we're going to work this new journey together. I'm going to be there with you. And you're not going to be alone. You won't walk alone. Congratulations. Because I know you're going to jump and you're going to start a new life. Congratulations. Bye bye. See you soon.